a whole lot about me. You know,
Right.
I know she tried to play as loyal as she could with me, and you know, in noting that, I told her in the Power Veto, if I were to win it, I'd totally take her off the block. You know, and you know, remaining loyal.
Sure.
But at the same time, if now this is stating also that if I was to stay, that I am neither in an alliance with them, nor do I plan on getting, you know, into any type of an alliance.
Sure.
After this point on.
Right.
Telling you straightforward, you know, I'm flying solo. So with that said, with that kind of like that backstory of kind of like what went on and what was said, you know, come the day of the veto competition, I didn't want people to portray me as somebody like that was a backstabber in any way,
Right.
or, you know, that wasn't true to his word and didn't mean what I said, you know, with Kale. So being that, you know, I hold those values as a person, it took a lot of courage to go out there in front of everybody. Basically, it was just me, and to display that I am the person I say I am, and that I don't let outside influences, you know, stray me from who I am.
Sure.
That hopefully those actions in the ceremony can be carried forward onto, you know, future you know, segments in the game where people can actually trust in my word, and my word is what I say.
Sure.
And I'm not, you know, bullshitting anybody.
Well, in my eyes, I really never had any doubts about your character or ability to be loyal or anything. To me, you've you know, been a stand-up guy, and you've been who you are since you walked in the door. In fact, this is going to probably sound sort of weird or whatever, but the other night when people, you know, get bored and start asking each other stupid, how many of the 14 house guests can you honestly say at no time whatsoever have pissed you off or annoyed you in the house? And I said, does that include like before I really knew them? Does that include like a little 5-minute tiff, but otherwise we clearly said yes. Literally, how many have never bothered you in any which way? And my answer was 2, and you were one of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Although I didn't have to disclose the people,
yeah, exactly.
But I was like, and I was thinking to myself, and I was like, you know, it's kind of interesting, and I was like, because we've really never had like the chance to sit down and like talk, but like, you know I've mentioned a few times that I think that you're a really funny guy, and like I always like what you bring to like a group scenario, but I can honestly say that I really have never had any true sense of what your feelings towards me are. My guess is that if things went as planned for you guys, and if it was considered a tight unit that you were able to move forward with, I'm guessing that I very much would have been high on the hit list for you, Zach, and Nick, is my guess. And now I don't know if this is true or not, but based on just sort of my own gut feeling on the matter, and where I feel like those two may stand in the greater scheme of things as well, I would have felt that if you guys were in power for a week, I would have felt like, you know, there was a good chance that my number was coming up on those weeks, or if it wasn't ultimately in that direction, that it would be something that would be strongly batted about, you know, ahead of time. I mean, you know, just being upfront, because as you're saying, it's not something that really holds a lot of clout right now or whatever. I mean, is that a correct assumption that I would have been someone who was not in good favor with you guys?
Actually, you know, and this is not to
please go to the diary.
Try to make you
right.
think that I want you to like me better because I'm saying it or anything like that, but you weren't, because Jen was actually giving us a lot of input that she was in tight with you, and that
we were in
you
good
weren't
standing,
even,
and I
you weren't
wasn't
even considered.
Well, I
you know.
was absolutely. Yo. No, I absolutely never had you guys on my radar at all either. But, you know, you get so much bullshit pumped through your head in this house, and it is hard to decipher what's what from what or whatever. And I don't necessarily like how some people feel like you need to stand up and say, I love this person and I hate this person, and it's never the way I've really looked at the game. And evidently it was to my own problems in the first couple days or whatever, but I made a decision coming in here that I was going to take the time to get to know everyone. So when there did come a time in a game that you had to make some decisions and maybe did have to draw a line in the sand or had to make a play, that you understood what you were dealing with and who you were dealing with before making these decisions. I made the choice that I wasn't going to just sort of leap into something, that I really wanted to be careful with it. And I think it made certain people uneasy because they felt like I was never talking about game and that I was trying to get to know everyone, and they thought I was like really working it over, when that was never my intention. My intentions were simply to have the facts before I went ahead with anything. So, but you know, in the process, people blow so much smoke up your ass that it is hard to assess what to think. And no, that is, I do believe you in saying that, and that actually means a lot to me, because I certainly was most certainly never after you or any of them. And I felt like, for whatever reason, like, you know, I there is part of me that has concern that if someone from this pre-existing faction were to win HOH next week or the week after, and let's just say for argument's sake that Evil was the target again, that I would be the person sitting next to him. And I have no desire to do that, obviously,
exactly.
you know.
I don't think anybody has the desire to be there.
Right.
But,
you know, which is why I asked, because, you know, kind of like what's done is done, but then the intentions moving forward are really what is going to ultimately affect this game. You know, what's happened has happened. It's out there, and everyone can take away from it whatever they want to take away from it at this point. But my concerns more so lie in, you know, when, you know,